forgive me for everything.
Oh, okay, it was the captain. Jesus Christ. Is this Abigail? Everybody, my name is Bloomer Brown and welcome back once again to Return of the Obra Dinn, where I am picking it up pretty much where I left off in the last episode, inside the captain's quarters, where a lot of things have gone down. We have got a number of corpses piling up. I suppose I'm going to start by jumping into a little bit of deduction today. And I'm going to start with, first off, I still have no clear-cut idea as to who either of these guys are. I do think that I'm pretty confident that's the captain, who was after killing himself, and I have a fair idea that this is his wife, Abigail. I'm not going to deal with her just yet, because as I say, there is a little bit of a deduction that I want to make. And that relates to this guy out here. Now, I said in the last episode that I had an inkling as to who he might be. So let's see what we actually know about this guy. So when we jumped in and first had a look at this memory, we heard a Scottish guy calling from outside the door to the captain, looking to get in and get hold of whatever the captain was keeping from him. The captain opened the door, fired a shot, and killed this guy. And the second guy made his way in here and confronted the captain. Incidentally, he did not have a Scottish accent, so the first conclusion we can make is that the guy outside the door here is in fact Scottish. The second clue came when we discovered the captain's corpse itself. Before he shot himself, he made a confession to his wife that he had shot and killed her brother. Now, it is a little bit of a jump to assume that he is referring to shooting that guy, since he did kill two other people in here, and he may have shot her brother at an earlier time, and perhaps that was the reason that these guys decided to mutiny in the first place. But there is a real clincher in this. If we open up the book, opening the book while the pocket is open to flip directly to the relevant page. Okay, that is pretty interesting. Okay, so this is the captain. Incidentally, yes, this is what we are looking for. So he says, Abigail, your brother, my friend. I shot him dead. I will be with you soon, my love. Please forgive me for everything. Okay, so he has said that he has shot her brother and his friend. Okay, so let us, I think Q is the table of contents. And if we take a look at the crew, so we are looking for Abigail. So here she is, Abigail Whittle, passenger from Scotland. And I'm assuming that she is, of course, the Abigail that the captain, Robert Whittle, is referring to just before he commits suicide. Interestingly, her maiden name is Hoscut. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, otherwise all the Scots in the house are going to be pretty annoyed with me. Now, looking through the manifest, it doesn't seem that there is another Hoscut aboard the ship, apart from this guy here, William Hoscott, the first mate, who is incidentally Scottish. The clincher for this with me is that before he killed himself, the captain referred to this guy as being his friend, and it's not unreasonable to assume that the captain and the first mate on a ship would be pretty close. I mean, the relationship wasn't perfect. He did end up shooting him in the end, if I am correct, but it is kind of reasonable to assume that the guy outside the door, who is Scottish, is actually the first mate. So I am going to head to the relevant page in the book. This is inside the captain's quarters, outside the captain's quarters. And I am going to make the assumption that this unknown soul is actually William Hoscott, the first mate, who is Scottish, who has the same name as Abigail, or at least the same name as Abigail's maiden name. So yeah, I'm assuming that is the first mate, and I'm going to pop that in there. So William Hoscott, the first mate, was shot with a gun by Captain Robert Whittle. Of course, we don't get to find out if we are correct about that just yet, and in fact I may be wrong, because we have to solve 3 fates before we actually get confirmation that we are on the right track. So with that in mind, I think it is time that we determine what happened to this person here, who I'm assuming is Abigail, the captain's wife. So brace yourselves as we jump in. Okay, so there are high seas, and it seems that our dear friend Abigail, I'm just going to have a closer inspection of her, and it does in fact seem to be the person that was in the bed, has been crushed by a piece of falling rigging, or rather a piece of rigging that is being ripped apart by the Kraken. Yeah, I said there were going to be spoilers in this, and I said it was going to be impressive, and this is perhaps the most impressive piece of the demo that really got me excited about playing this game. I mean, just look at this. This is absolutely awesome. So yeah, from the conversation, I am willing to bet that this guy over here with the sword is probably someone called Martin. And he indeed seems to be a pretty high-ranking officer just from that little glimpse there. So we begin a new chapter. The Doom. This is just an incredible sequence. I really love this. Oh yeah, that is some awesome artwork. So inside the captain's quarters. So the corpse was moved post-mortem, which means that when we were looking at the captain's suicide, she was in fact dead, and that's what he meant by saying he would be joining her soon. So I'm going to go ahead and straight away make my assumptions about this person. I am going to say that she is Abigail Whittle, and she did not meet in an unknown fate. She was crushed by rigging. And well done, 3 fates correct. Oh, that is incredible. Yes, so the notes turn into actual typed text in the book when we get them completed. That is very useful, actually. And it seems that this is actually a piece of something of a progress bar, which is very interesting. Okay. So table of contents. So that was in fact actually Abigail. And there is a lot about to happen in here. On the bow. Okay. On the gun deck. Okay, this is going to be a pretty intense chapter, I think. The conclusion. Okay, this is going to be a massive chapter, and a hell of a lot more involved than the last one, and it is possible that we will have to probably end up doing it in parts, depending on what happens next. So yes, 10 other people were present. One of them was somebody by the name of Martin, and I think he was standing close to the captain. I think this is the guy. Where is the captain? That's not, okay, so we only get to see the people that were actually present. So this guy Martin, well, at least I'm assuming that he is Martin. For now. So third mate, Martin Perrault. Who is English, or maybe it's Parrot because he's English. Are there any other Martins aboard? Thomas, Edward, an unknown passenger. Okay, that is a kind of an interesting thing. So this could actually be a stowaway. Samuel Roderick Anderson, Davy James, another unknown, midshipman, unknown. There's a lot of unknown people aboard this ship. Have they stowed away, or what is the situation with them? Again, another unknown here. That's a little bit troubling. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what to do with these unknown people. A lot of seamen going around there as well. And some top men. Oh my god. Yeah, we're just going to move quickly along from comments like that. So yeah, I think the only Martin that I can see on the roster is this Martin here, who is the third mate and is English. And it also turns out that Edward Nichols is the second mate. Is there anybody else on this? No. An unknown. I am for now. I'm going to go back actually and take another peek. Of course, this guy could also be Martin. Though, because I zoomed on his face, it seems that I've already met him. This guy isn't blurred either, which probably means I am ready to identify him. I think this is that Martin guy. And there are a number of other people. Our friend up here, clubbed by Whitterell, is also present on deck. Abigail. So I'm going to have to go back and actually take a look at that and see if that is in fact the Martin that I am looking for. So where is Abigail? Abigail is there. This guy's over here. I definitely don't think that would be the Martin she is talking to. This guy is far too young and wearing the wrong kind of clothes. My Christ almighty. I'm just going around having a look at them as they're being ripped to pieces in the chaos of a giant squid / kraken attack. So yeah, I'm going to assume that this is the Martin that she is referring to. For now, I am ignoring the shaking watch that is in my hand. That is actually not a function of the stress that he's under. A new mechanic that has been added to the game, is actually causing the watch to shake because we have an action that we need to take. So I'm going to assume that this is this Martin that she is talking to, who is the third mate, Martin Perrott. Okay. So that is pretty much all I can tell for now. I also don't know how he died. So, the watch is shaking and we have got a prompt to press space to take some kind of an action. And as we do, a bell rings and the entire perspective of things gets absolutely thrown into chaos because as Abigail was dying, another soul was dying, and so we can sort of charge up the watch with his memory or something, and we're going to be able to investigate how this guy died. So the watch is behaving a little bit unusually at this stage, so I think I may as well click on it, and doing so releases something of a wisp that I'm assuming we have to follow. Things are really starting to go Donnie Darko on us here. Incidentally, if you haven't seen that movie, you probably don't get that reference. Though it was kind of more coming out of his chest than coming out of his wristwatch. As we get a ghostly image of the corpse of some poor soul who happened to die at the same moment as Abigail. Well, I say corpse, it's actually a partial corpse since he seems to be missing from the waist down. So I suppose we better try and investigate who this guy was and how he died. Well, that doesn't really take much deduction. It seems that the Kraken has grabbed hold of him pretty securely, and well, it's ripped him in half. It obviously doesn't. Oh no, it's got him by two tentacles, so it's literally just ripping him in half. That's actually pretty gruesome. We've got this guy here with a very shocked expression on his face, attempting to defend him from the Kraken. We've got another guy over here who's holding a cup. Not entirely sure what he's up to. He's probably hiding out from the tentacles, probably hoping the rigging is going to protect him to some degree. Over here we have somebody else, and oh, I really need to get in and have a look around. Okay, so back to the book once again. We have got this new person on the main deck. Great thing about this guy is he seems to have a few distinctive tattoos, which is going to make him easy to identify in other parts of, or at least in other memories that we will encounter. So he didn't meet an unknown fate. We have no idea who he is. Perfect. He was torn apart by a beast. Yeah, we don't have the option to select a Kraken. So yeah, we're going to say he was torn apart by a terrible beast. We still have no idea who he is, and he only features in this memory so far. So that's the location of the corpse. 12 others were present at the time, including all of these guys. This is possibly before Abigail came aboard the ship. That's what I was trying to work out, actually. Was Abigail on the bridge at the time? Now, I think when Abigail was on the bridge, there were only 10 people present. So, clearly, a number of them have perished. Is that the guy that was holding the cup, perchance? It may be, actually. There's our tattooed friend. And we've got this guy, and this guy is still on the deck as well. So that's pretty much all we can glean from this so far. Seems that as he was being torn apart, it lines up with the death of another individual. So we're working backwards in time, and we're going to see exactly what happened to this guy over here. Okay, so we have to once again release the puff of smoke. I have to come up with a name for that thing. What did they call those things in Sorry You're Being Haunted? The spectres or something. Okay, so it's time to have a look at how this guy died. Okay, now we're back to me being impressed with this. Oh, that is cool. So they're trying to fight back the Kraken with presumably a powder keg or something. And well, it seems that this guy has gotten trapped, and well, I suppose that impending explosion is what has inevitably done him in, so it wasn't actually that obvious what happened. Oh, it seems that we have a goat in this cage. To quote a famous line from Jurassic Park, where is the goat now? So yeah, we have actually got a few less people on deck. So presumably this is somewhat earlier in the attack. Has somebody severed a tentacle? No, they have not. There is a hell of a lot to take in this. We've been introduced to a hell of a lot of people. Most of whom I have no idea who they are just yet. So on the main deck, well, it's pretty obvious how this guy died. He didn't meet an unknown fate. He was decapitated, crushed. He was explodified. Let me see. Eaten, electrocuted, exploded. He just generally exploded. He was blasted by an explosion. Incidentally, I have no idea who this guy is. He is in one memory. The Doom Part 6, page 83. Show memories on deck map. Depicted in Justice at Sea sketch. That might actually give us an indication. So he could be some kind of... He could be a passenger. Gentry, he's definitely not part of the officers. All the officers seem to be down here around the front, so he may be a passenger. Because I know that there were passengers. There were 51 crew and there were a number of passengers. We've also got this guy and our friend here. This guy incidentally hasn't arrived just yet on the deck. So I'm guessing that this happened, well actually it did happen earlier than the death of our friend Abigail. So let's go back and see if we can gain any more information about who died on deck. Okay, it seems that we can't. Our pocket watch isn't vibrating this time. So that kind of leaves us at a little bit of a dead end unless there is something that I am missing. This actually looks like our friend Martin once again, I think. No, it's not actually. This is another guy. So we have reached something of... Oh, of course. The deck has opened up. We can now make our way below deck. I am sure that there are some bodies down there, so I'm going to take myself out of this memory and get down there for a little look and start moving the story forward. It's got to be said that that is pretty damned impressive. I really like that. Obviously the powder keg didn't do anything against the sea beast, because it ended up ripping parts of the ship apart and tearing down the rigging following that. I wonder, I'm assuming there must have been a storm, because it does seem to be raining, so perhaps that's what stirred it up from the depths. So yeah, it is time to make our way out of this memory. Incidentally, you'll notice that the portal rather, is not listing like the ship is. That is incredible. It's a nice little touch. It just makes it seem more alien to what's going on around us. You could have very easily tilted that to list along with the deck, but it's clearly we are visitors from another dimension or something like that, looking into these memories. So anyway, I'm going to go in here, and if I am correct, the lower deck should now be open to us, and in fact it is. So that is pretty cool. Also just noticed something out there. What is that? Can we zoom on it? There is something out there. Not entirely sure what that is. It's not a reflection from the moon. There is something out there. Was that out there before? I honestly do not know. There doesn't seem to be anything we can do with it for now, so I'm going to just ignore it. And I think it is time to make our way down below deck at long last. This incidentally is something that was not available in the initial demo, so this is going to be the first time that I am taking a look below deck on the Obra Dinn. Okay, and understandably there is a little bit of carnage down here too. Most of the cannons seem to be strapped on, though behind me there does seem to be a little bit of chaos. Just having a look around to see if we can find any corpses. Yep. Well, I think we know what happened here. So it looks as though this guy has been crushed by the cannon, which got loose. It's also cracked some of the beams on the ship. I'm assuming it was the Kraken that did this, since that seems to be what happened before. We ended up having the captain committing suicide. So we might as well have a look at this body. Oh, Christ. Oh, that just does not look pleasant at all. Oh, holy hell. I suppose we better get a look at this guy. Okay, so he was over beside our friend Martin and the captain. Oh, that's grim. Incidentally, new music. So yeah, the Kraken is outside, so this was all part of the incident that was going on, as I suspected. So can we get in? Okay, we can get in here and have a look around. Who is this? This looks like our friend Martin again, is it? Indeed it is. Okay, so he's down there. I definitely heard a Northern Irish accent as well. Or at least I think it was a Northern Irish accent. Okay, so on the gun deck. Okay, so who is this? How did they die? Okay, so I don't know who they are, but but they were crushed, most definitely crushed, by a cannon. And he appears in one memory. Okay. I am... So who else was present? So our friend Martin was there. The guy who exploded was also down below when this took place. So I'm assuming he grabbed a powder keg and brought it up to the deck in an attempt to throw it at the beast, which wasn't a really good move for him, it has to be said. So yeah, I was right, that is the guy Martin that was down there. So location of the corpse. So what happened here? There was definitely a Northern Irish accent up here at the time, and it seems as though someone else has been... Oh, is that another person in there? I'm not entirely sure. So what are we looking for in here? Oh, okay, it must be this guy over here. Oh, okay, so we have to release the spirit, I think, before we move. Okay, and it's heading over this-a-wise. Okay, yeah. Okay, perhaps he's not missing his head. I thought there was something in this area here that looked like a portion of that guy had been smeared across. It does kind of look like he might be missing his head. I'm not entirely sure. Let's have a look. Okay. Okay, I see why the cannon got loose now. So yeah, he was missing his head. It seems that he explodified himself down here in the panic. Oh, Christ. I thought I was kind of prepared for everything this game was going to throw at me, but no. So yeah, he's clearly blown himself up, and pieces of him are being scattered everywhere. It does look like there is another body under there. They look like some feet, and I don't think that is from our guy who was pinned behind the cannon over here. So yeah, everybody got thrown by that. So that's our tattoo guy, and I think this is the guy that was attacking the captain with the beard. I have yet to find a name for him, and that might be the other mutineer actually. That is beside him there, which would make sense, having them, you know, kind of being crewmates or something like that. So, we have more questions and less answers. Okay, so there were two guys in that. Okay. Location of the corpses, yeah, they're pretty much... so they died by being exploded. Yes, they were exploded, blasted by an explosion, and this guy also was blasted by an explosion, which is on page 2. So with more questions asked than I have answered in this episode, I think I'm going to cut the episode here. Yeah, it has been a hell of a trip. So I don't know if you can hear that or not, but across the microphone, but it appears as though the drums of hell have been unleashed in town this evening. There is something of an arts festival on at the moment, and it seems that they have picked my recording time to conduct something of a parade. So at the risk of ruining my audio any more than it is already, I think at this moment, with more questions asked than I have answered, I am going to take this opportunity to say thank you very much for tuning in. You have been watching Bloomer Brown on YouTube, and I will see you next time.